to Golf Betting Club's The Closing Stretch. It's our brand new show and we are so happy to finally have this in the works. I'm Diane Knox Balas and I'm joined by the masters behind Golf Betting Club, Duncan and Neil Campbell. So Dunk, we've been talking about this for a while. We're so excited that we finally get to launch our new show.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously delighted to have you, Diane, alongside us as host for the show. A real coup for us, if you like. And yeah, we were really looking forward to analysing the final rounds on the PGA Tour in the coming year.
Well, that's it. So we're going to be here every Sunday and we're really going to dive in, give you insight, analysis and those top tips ahead of the final round of the tournament on the PGA Tour. And this week, well, you can see I'm in beautiful Kapalua in Hawaii. It's the Sentry Tournament of Champions. Right, Neil, before we go any further, we have to talk about you brought out the polo neck for the occasion. You're pulling out the big guns.
Certainly did. Well, I had to do something after the ripping you gave me in our practice record.
Well, it's because you had a moustache that you were growing, and I'm so disappointed that you've shaved it off.
we backed Eric Van Rooyen after the first round. Unfortunately, it didn't go to plan, but the moustache had to go in that case.
Okay, that was a fair point. Right, well, let's talk about the fact that we have two big names at the top. One of them being US Open champion Jon Rahm, world number one, and Australian Cameron Smith. They're both on 26 under par heading into the final round. This tournament has been a display of incredible golf and a lot of birdies.
Absolutely. I couldn't stop watching last night, even though it finishes, 3 o'clock in the morning, our time here in the UK. My kids got up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't bring myself to tear away from the TV. Cameron Smith and Jon Rahm were just going, head to head, weren't they? And the birdies were just flying. I think when Rahm hold that putt on 17, they were about 30 odd foot on 17 yesterday. And then Cam Smith just matched him, straight in the hole as well. It was just fantastic viewing.
There were so many moments as well. The two of them were playing together. They're going to be playing again together today, obviously. But there were so many moments where even their approach shots, their distance from the hole was so similar. Sometimes they were the exact same distance. So it's great when you see that kind of tussle back and forth. And Neil, guys like that almost motivate each other to play better.
Yeah, you could tell that from their interviews after. I think they both really enjoyed it actually, and took some momentum from that. Mm-hmm. It really was just blow for blow. But I think the turning point for Rahm was that bogey he made on, I think it was the 4th hole when he lost his ball. It was a terrific save. It was a great bogey, and it really kick-started his round. Yeah. I think he was 12 under par through the next 14 holes after that.
Amazing.
So yeah, all to play for now.
Incredible we can have a 61 with a lost ball, isn't it?
I know. It really is. It's incredible that Justin Thomas as well shooting 61, and you looked at, we'll talk about Justin Thomas a little bit down the line, but incredible round from him yesterday as well, especially when you look at the fact that he opened with a 74 on Thursday. It shows what this course or what these guys are capable when the course is playing the way it is.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about Justin Thomas later, but I think there was a course record yesterday, the 61, and to have that matched a couple of hours later by Rahm was just incredible. I must admit, it does get a little bit boring when it's only birdies for a little bit for us. We like to see them dropping shots and stuff, but great stuff.
I know. Right, Dunk, so is this going to be a little bit of a two-horse race now, considering we have two guys at the top with, quite a hefty lead?
It's kind of a difficult one, really, Dan, because, obviously you've got world number one, Jon Rahm, who you'd expect to kind of take control. And obviously the odds kind of suggest that that's what the market thinks is going to happen. But if you look at the last kind of couple of years at Tournament of Champions, someone's generally come from off the pace. Last year we had Neiman shot a really good final round, should I say, and he made the playoff with Harris English, and at least gave us a bit of interest. You look back the couple of years before that, Patrick Reed, I think, made a charge in 2020, and then Schauffele, obviously, did the job in 2019. So, like, there was guys coming from 4 or 5 shots back in those years. So we do have that 5-shot gap again this year. So I don't think we should completely rule out the chasers. We've got some really good players tucked in behind. But really, given the quality of Rahm and Smith, you'd have to think that one of them is going to get the job done. The course is playing easy. There's really not many bogeys to be made out there after the first couple of holes. And certainly once you turn past the 5th, it's just birdies galore, isn't it? So, I mean, I think for us, we both see it as a battle between Smith and Rahm. Someone might make a move and get a bit closer than the 5-shot gap that currently exists. But really for us, I think we see it as a bit of a 2-horse race.
What about Rahm then? What odds are you getting on him as we head into the final round?
So over here in the UK, he's a best price of 8-13, which is pretty slim. And those of you who have been with us from the start of the golf betting club journey back in June 2020, you'll know that we're not really huge fans of taking those kind of bets in the last round. We'd prefer to probably keep our powder dry and start looking towards next week. So for us, Rahm is a kind of a proposition. He should go on a win. Like let's be honest here, Rahm should finish the job here. Yeah. But at odds of 8-13 for us, it's just not worth taking. He's been kind of not shaky, but he's had a few poor performances towards the end of last year. He played with Cam Smith at the Northern Trust towards the end of last year. And they both played poorly, and Rahm kind of gave it away in the last couple of holes. And similarly, he was a bit poor when he was in Spain and doing well after the first couple of rounds. So Rahm probably would be the preferred option, but at odds of 8-13, there's not much value there to have a bet on him.
Okay, well, Neil, let's talk about Cam Smith, the Aussie. He's got 2 PGA Tour wins under his belt already. And for the first time, actually, he has led in the first 3 rounds. So tied at the top on 26 under par with Rahm. What do you think of Cam Smith closing it out and getting it done today?
Yeah, so Cameron's a difficult one for us to assess just based on his record to date. So he's available at 6-4 at the moment to see off Jon Rahm today. Like you said, he's a previous winner in Hawaii at the Sunny Open. And he's also got a couple of wins in his homeland in Australia. So for us, he was really regarded as a strong closer up until almost the start of last year. And his last 4 performances in contention haven't actually... He's done all right, but he's made some mistakes at vital points. So if we look back to his most recent one, he was actually going up against Jon Rahm in the Northern Trust. Tony Finau ended up winning that day on a playoff against Cameron Smith. And I think if you remember rightly, Cameron Smith hit his first tee shot in the playoff out of bounds to lose that. So that was a really big moment under pressure that he gave away. Just before that, there was the FedEx St. Jude Invitational, and he also had a chance to get into that playoff. That Abraham Answer ended up winning that, but he made a double bogey in his final hole. So these are clutch moments in the tournament, which kind of put us off backing him to take on the world number 1 Jon Rahm today. He is capable. His putting has been unbelievable. He really is a gritty performer. So obviously we can't really... I know you quite like his chances today, Diane. But for us, we won't be backing him at 6-4 to beat Jon Rahm, unfortunately.
He was my pick at the start of the week, actually. So I'm feeling quite good about that. And I mean, we have to talk about the fact that the Australians are doing amazing. I mean, looking in the top 10 right now, Cam Smith, Matt Jones, Mark Leishman and Cam Davis. So you've got 4 Australians there. I mean, Stuart Appleby's won before here, Jeff Ogilvy. Australians typically do well here. So maybe Cam has that on his side. We need the wind to blow. I feel like that's when he might have the edge over Rahm, is if that wind picks up a little bit, which it is known to do around Kapalua, but they've had dream weather this week.
It would be brilliant for the wind to pick up, especially with our pre-event selection, Mark Leishman, on the sort of edges of the places. He loves the wind, so he could put in a low one while the rest struggle. It was incredibly frustrating to see him finish with 3 missed putts under 10 foot yesterday. He could have been right in there with an outside chance.
And just missed them. I mean, like, kissing the edge of the hole. Right, so let's ignore Rahm and Smith for a second then, and then look a little bit further back, because we had an incredible day from Matt Jones on Saturday. Daniel Berger has been 7 under all 3 rounds, so he's 5 shots behind the leaders. What do you think about the guys a little bit further back, possibly making a charge, because we know how low they can go?
Yeah, it's set up for birdies, isn't it, Dan? I mean, the course is just playing, like I said, after the 5th hole, after the 4th hole onwards, it's birdie aplenty. Daniel Berger, for us, probably wouldn't be one of the ones we'd fancy to challenge the top 2. Funny enough, we were on him last year in this event, and he had a really poor final round. And maybe it's the scar tissue from that that puts us off him. But no, we wouldn't think Daniel Berger would be one of the ones to make the move. But there obviously is that group in at 20 under par who've certainly got the firepower. Cantlay is obviously renowned for getting hot. Matt Jones had a 61 when he won Honda last year, and obviously had a hot round yesterday. So there's certainly players who can make the jump up, but there's actually someone a bit further down who we think might be worth a bet in a different market. But I think we're going to come on to that shortly.
Right. Well, Neil, let's look at the market without Smith and Rahm then.
Yeah, so the player we've selected, who we touched upon earlier, is Justin Thomas, who is currently at 17 under par. He's 4 back of Cantlay. So we're getting 16-1 on Thomas to overturn that deficit. So as we mentioned earlier, Justin opened with a 74, which is a 1 over par, and that's only going to leave you at the bottom of the field in this course. But he's improved every day. He shot a 67 on Friday, and then a course record 61 yesterday. As you would expect, his approach play and driving have improved each day with those scores. And we just feel like his game's starting to come together. He's shaking off the rust. There's some evidence of fast finishes recently at the Hero World Challenge. He shot the lowest round of the day, finishing with a 64 to get him inside the top 5. And also at this tournament last year, he shot a final round 66. Which bagged him a top 3 finish. So 3rd place would win this bet at 16-1 today. So hopefully he can carry on his momentum, and we think there's a very good chance he will. Obviously, we'll need a bit of help from Daniel Berger and the likes of Patrick Cantlay and Sung Jae Im, but low rounds are possible here, so we think there's a lot of value in the 16-1.
And Justin Thomas, I mean, you touched on it there, but his ball striking and his control has improved massively. That seemed to be the thing that was really letting him down towards the end of last season. We saw yesterday that everything was just firing on all cylinders. He made it look very easy to go out there and shoot 61. And he's won twice on this course before. And remember in 2020, that was the year that the weather was horrendous, the wind was blowing. So he's played this course in challenging conditions as well. So if there's anyone that knows it inside out that could potentially back up their super low 61 on Sunday, it would be JT.
Yeah, his win last year as well. The players came with a really good Saturday round, didn't it? It was a 64, I think, on the Saturday at Sawgrass, and then obviously he backed up with another good round on the Sunday. So some of that again today would be good. Okay,
Duncan, so are there any special market bets that you like today?
Yeah, we do have one, Diane. We talked earlier on about how the Aussies were strong and on the top of or near the top of the leaderboard this week, and we actually like Cameron Davis to have a good final round. They're here in the UK. We're getting 3-1 on him to finish in the top 10.
Wow!
We think that's a pretty decent bet, to be honest. He's gained strokes off the tee every day this week. His iron play has improved every round so far. And given that he's one of the debutants this week, it's been pleasing to see that his scoring has actually improved every day. So the more that he gets to know Kapalua, the better he's been playing. and that's obviously resulted in the better scores that he's posting. So I think he's definitely one to watch in the final round. He's got a fantastic round 4 scoring average on the PGA Tour. I think he was top 35 last year. I think he's top 35 again this year. And we think he's a player who's really solid in contention on a Sunday. We really like Cameron a lot. So given that he's 10th at the moment and he's 3-1, we think there's a bit of value to be had by taking him. So if you can get it, I would take 3-1 on Cameron to finish in the top 10.
Okay, I like it. And then, Neil, what about our closing stretch 2-ball parlay?
Yeah, so we thought we'd have some fun with this on the show. These aren't official plays, but sometimes we just put on like a fun bet. It wouldn't be high stakes or anything, but it's just something we can maybe keep track of and see how many winners we can get along the year. So we're going to go for a treble of 2-ball bets today. So the first one is going to be Cameron Davis, who Duncan just talked about, why we fancy his chances, and he's up against Hideki Matsuyama today. Hideki has spoken quite a lot this week about how little golf he has played this week, and I think it's kind of starting to show. Yesterday, I think he only shot 5 under par, which is probably losing shots in this tournament. So we think he's terrific value to beat. Davis is terrific value to beat Matsuyama at 17-10. It's quite value odds there. And then we're gonna take them with some favourites. So we're going to take Justin Thomas to beat Mark Leishman. So that's kind of like a head-to-head between two of our men that we want to do well today, but we think Thomas has got the edge. And finally, we're going to go against you on the Cam Smith Jon Rahm matchup, and we think Rahm is going to see off Smith today. So the treble is Jon Rahm, Justin Thomas, and Cameron Davis.
Excellent. Okay, cool. I like it a lot. Well, I mean, we know that if there's anything we can 100% guarantee is the fact that the scores are going to be low again. We're going to see a lot of birdies, and with Smith and Rahm at the top with a 5-shot lead, it's going to be tough. However, there's a very elite, capable chasing pack. So we'll have to see what goes down on Sunday.
Absolutely, can't wait. It's an earlier start time, I think, as well, isn't it? So yeah, we'll get to bed at a reasonable time, which is always a bonus.
Right, well, thank you for watching The Closing Stretch. It's our brand new show. It's going to be out every Sunday, and we'll have the video version of the show on YouTube and then a podcast version as well. So Dunk, tell everyone what they have to do to subscribe and never miss out. Okay, so obviously if you've got a YouTube account, please do subscribe so you never miss out on an episode on YouTube. Alternatively, obviously, if you're more of a podcast listener, you can subscribe on all the regular podcast places where you might normally get your podcasts. So Apple, Google, Spotify, you name it, it'll be there. In terms of the website, golfbettingclub.com. On golfbettingclub.com, we also have almost 150 player profiles. So if you want to know more about Cameron Smith and Jon Rahm and how they deal with pressure and how they cope under pressure, you can obviously go on the website and have a look and see our extensive profiles as well. And then on social media, you'll find us at Golf Betting Club on Twitter, and on Instagram, you'll find us on @Golf Betting Club Official. Amazing. What a pro. And then next week, well, the field's going to be a little bit more wide open because it's the Sony Open in Hawaii at Waialae in Honolulu. And I love that we're talking about 2 weeks back-to-back in Hawaii, 80-degree, gorgeous weather, and Neil's still rocking the polo neck.
I'm just thinking what I need to wear next week.
I was going to say, are we going to go one extreme to the next? Or are we going to have the floral shirt out next week?
I need to top it somehow, won't we?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching, and well, good luck with all your bets down the closing stretch.